some other screenplays, like other authors?
I don't know. Some stuff's original. I've gotten a little more used to that. Except the phone, and it's Judi Dench, so it's always very exciting.
After making Sin Nombre, making Jane Eyre is, to say the least, a huge change of direction. What led you to make Jane Eyre?
I've been about 5 years sort of in and out of Central America and Mexico, and I think I just really needed a change of scenery. And just the idea, I think, of like hanging out in northern England on the moors was appealing, and maybe riding horses and hanging out in big old-fashioned houses. And I think, I just wanted to try a different genre. I've been kind of, once the movie had come out, you get a lot of offers to make movies, and they're all kind of like the same thing. And it's just nice to like just test out, your range.
What's your relationship to the novel Jane Eyre and also the film versions, of which, of course, there are very many?
Yeah, I didn't realize there were so many, actually, until I signed on to the film. I knew about one in particular, and that was the one I grew up with. And it was a 43 or 44 version by Bob Stevens with Orson Welles and Joan Fontaine. And I grew up with that movie, had it on tape, watched it dozens of times. And even actually when I was waiting to make Sin Nombre, there was a period about 6-7 months when I was home in New York, and I just kind of wanted to stay busy. I didn't want to like sit around while waiting for the film to go. And so I was considering adapting sort of classic books, and Jane Eyre was one of the first ones I thought of. So when I was traveling with Sin Nombre around Europe and doing international promotions for it, I found out that the BBC had a project in development. And so I asked to read it, and then the rest is history.
And what do you think is the appeal of the subject for film? Because as far as I know, the first film version came out almost 100 years ago. Of course, it was a silent version.
Yeah. I think the appeal, like Shakespeare, there are certain elements of the story which are universal around the world. The people are going to be able to identify themselves or their own love story or the ideal love story within it. And I think Jane herself is a fascinating character. I don't really know anyone I can think of in real life that would walk away from love to protect their own dignity and self-worth, and that's a very strong character, and I think especially for female heroines, a great role model.
Your film has a hugely impressive cast, but Mia Wasikowska as Jane Eyre in particular is excellent. Was she your first choice for the role, or did you consider perhaps casting a British actress?
There was a part of me, especially once, because Michael Fassbender was the first person I thought of for Rochester, and I'd seen him in Hunger, in Steve McQueen's Hunger. So after I cast him, I was thinking, well, we're putting an Irishman in this film, should we cast British? But you cast the person who's right for the role, and I'm sure somewhere in England, if we had a time to search, there would have been an actress that could have done maybe what Mia done. But I think that she right now is the rising star of her generation. I'm not sure if there's anyone else, really. I think she sort of stands alone. And there were two qualities I was looking for in the role. Aside from being 18 years old, I needed someone that had this sort of passion, this fire, beneath their eyes. And then I also needed someone that had wisdom beyond their years. There's something about Jane via Charlotte that has this incredibly keen sort of insight into the human psychology, and I think that Mia, despite not having much life experience, has a lot of that old soul wisdom.
You've said that the film had a very small budget. In concrete terms, how did the budget restrictions impact how you went about making the film?
We had to cut a lot out of the script to begin with, because we had a very, very tight shooting schedule. And then, to have such an impressive cast also means you sort of have a Jenga tower of availability. So some are available, the first 2 weeks are available like right in the middle, and if anything shifts in the schedule and you don't get what you're getting, you're not going to be able to have those actors for all the time you need them for. So it becomes a very delicate sort of twisting and turning structure that could fall down at any minute. Adds a lot of stress, and then every day, you're racing against the clock to get this done, and there is no margin for error when you have tight budgets, basically.
What's next for you? I've been reading that you may make a musical, which of course would be another huge change of direction.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I didn't know when I was at Karlovy last time I was going to do Jane Eyre. Sometimes these things just happen. There's a bunch of projects I'm writing, but maybe I don't make them yet. I don't know.
So we'll see you in 2 years with the Western, perhaps?
Yeah, with the Western or a sci-fi film, or who knows. Yeah.